has to be violent. It was Ilir Latifi versus Sean O'Connell's weigh-in moment, and both were facing up against each other to get their pictures taken. But then suddenly Cruz steps aside and brings out a bouquet and hands it over to his future opponent. The bouquet was also humbly accepted by the player as they both laughed at each other. He even showed the bouquet to the onlooking crowd. To top it off, there was even what appeared to be candy on the bouquet, which the two fighters share with each other and devour. What was supposed to be a face-off between fierce fighters was no different than two friends sharing some candies while the fans looked on. Number 14. Learn to greet everyone. Teruto Ishihara is known in the world of MMA for his sense of humor as well, apart from his fighting skills. He has been a professional competitor since 2011, and this moment of his during a weigh-in can be considered as one of the most awkward ones in his career. Teruto walks up greeting everyone, including the girls who are present there acting as chauffeurs. Greeting every girl present is already an awkward experience in itself, but Teruto decides that a normal handshake or smile is too mainstream, and decides to greet one of them by dancing in front of them. That is how to make your first impression with the ladies for sure. Number 13. Wearing a wig. Fancy hair always attracts attention, and more often than not, you can see sports stars make changes to their hair to stand out. Josh Koscheck is an American retired mixed martial artist who has those standout hairstyles. During his weigh-in with Mike Peer, a childish and awkward moment took place between these two fighters when Mike Peers decides to copy Josh's hairstyle by wearing a wig himself. Even if this childish act was a bit funny for the audience, Koscheck did not take this whole incident so lightly and did not even crack a smile. However, at the end it was definitely a weigh-in photo which could be mistaken as Koscheck fighting his twin years down the road. Number 12. Goofing around. Michael Joseph Perry is an American professional mixed martial artist and former professional boxer currently competing in the welterweight division of the UFC. However, this incident can indeed make it to his highlight reels. Here in the video, he is seen posing for a photo session during the pre-match event show. He is flaunting his muscles as photographers take their pictures. However, to contradict the beast-type muscles and poses that he showed just a moment ago, he lets out a girly scream at the end of it. To make things more awkward, he goes and taunts his opponent, which almost looks like a tantrum from him rather than an invitation for a fight. Number 11. How many briefs can you wear? This guy should have a record for wearing so many briefs to a pre-match weigh-in session. First, he takes off his pants, probably for the purpose of measuring his weight. But then he takes off his brief as well, which reveals another one under it. He then takes that one off too, and keeps going until he has successfully removed 4 briefs that he had been wearing all along. To make matters more awkward, he throws the briefs at the crowd, probably to his fans. I don't know how hardcore of a fan you must be to earn this privilege. The conductor then asks him if he's wearing any more in order to get the correct measures. However bizarre and awkward this incident may be, nothing still tops his hairstyle though. Number 10. Forgetting your underwear altogether. Daniel Cormier is an American mixed martial artist and former Olympic wrestler who incidentally forgot to wear his underwear during the UFC 220 official weigh-in. Not only that, in order to complete the weigh-in, 2 guys were needed to hold a towel in front of him to protect his privacy, it seems. But Daniel was not ashamed about it and still managed to flaunt his huge muscles from behind the towel as if everything was normal. Now the cherry on the top, he still needed to give a short interview, which he did by, you guessed it, wrapping himself in a towel as if he just stepped out of the shower. Number 9. A glass of whiskey. Everybody knows who Conor McGregor is, even if you don't watch that much of MMA. Also, Khabib is equally famous in the fighting world. However, very few do not know when these two heavyweights fought against each other. However, the build-up leading to the fight in themselves were quite interesting, and also managed to produce a few memorable events, even though some of them are just straight cringe and awkward. Like in this example where Conor McGregor offers Khabib Nurmagomedov a glass of whiskey during a weigh-in plus press conference event before their big fight. Khabib respectfully declines the offer and also cheekily comments that it was going to be a long night for Conor. And to make matters more awkward, Conor simply laughs sarcastically like a teenager throwing a tantrum in front of their parents just because they did not get the fancy stuff that they asked for. Number 8. Wrong way. Fighter of the decade and Congressman Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao had this awkward moment during his stare-down with opponent Brandon Rios at the Venetian Macau in China in 2013. During his face-off, he faces the wrong way, and instead of facing down his opponent Rios, he looks straight at the girl who were accompanying the fighters for the event. They both laugh it off with some awkward laughter, but they know how awkward it was, even if it was just a joke. Number 7. Bigger than you. Height can always be a problem when it comes to sports. It could mean having the advantage over your opponent in most of the physical sports you play, and fighting is definitely one of them. The same situation occurred here when one of the fighters was several inches taller than the opponent. Usually it would have been fine, but during a face down, you need to be facing your opponent right in his face, which, as you can see, was a bit impossible. So what he did was pull up a stool and stand on top of it. He was finally taller when he did that, and his opponent was left laughing. Number 6. Just a prank, bro. Pranks are everywhere these days. Imagine pranking the conductor during your face down, making him think as if you were getting into a fight with your opponent, but then suddenly make up with them by hugging it out. That same case took place here. Two fighters, during their stare down, pretended to get into a fight. The conductor, who was clueless to this, thought that they were actually about to fight and immediately intervened. However, he only intervened between the two fighters, who were only laughing and hugging it out as their prank was a success. Number 5. Paper always wins over rock anyways. Fight weigh-ins are opportunities for fighters to market themselves or get into the heads of opponents. At the same time, it could even turn out to be awkward moments between the fighters. Like when you decide to play rock, paper, scissors with the fist of your opponent posing to punch you. The same fist which could possibly be landing on your face as you fall to the ground. So when they were posing, making fists at each other, one of them thinks it looks like rock, so the other is gonna go for paper and win. He even makes a paper and captures the rock in his hand. The whole ordeal was nothing but awkward and a cringe fest. Anyway, they took light of the whole thing and seemed to be enjoying themselves, which is the important part, right? Number 4. A toast. Sharing a toast between fighters before a fight is a very gentlemanly and classy thing to do. However, these two guys managed to make even that an awkward experience. They decide to toast what appears to be their energy drinks. It seems quite normal up to this point, but then they decide to drink from their respective bottles with their arms intertwined with each other's. Not even the cringiest love scenes have these types of plots anymore. Number 3. Not there. This next one is quite peculiar and quite fake on top of that. One of the fighters decides to show his big fake bulge of his private area during the photo shoot of the weigh-in event. It was funny till this point, but things get awkward real quick when the opponent cups the bulge as if trying to feel it. Number 2. A few extra pounds. During a weigh-in event, this fighter has nothing on except his briefs, but he still found a way to make the entire situation awkward. When he pulled out a white stash from inside his briefs, they looked like a stash of drugs stored inside it. But it seems like it's just a harmless joke to put on some pounds during his weigh-in. Then he tosses it to someone who has to catch and touch the stash. God knows how long it was in his underwear. Number 1. A kiss for good luck. During a face-off between two female MMA fighters, one of them tries to kiss the other one as their faces are so close to each other that one could easily mistake it as a scene from a romantic movie. However, the other backs away from her quickly and even shoves her a little, making the whole situation awkward in a split second. Thanks for watching. Be sure to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to always be in the loop. We'll see you in the next one.